What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's Steve from the Big Island of Hawaii. Today I want to talk to you guys about Evo 2 version 2.50. What has changed, what's brand new, and what is totally stoked. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Autel Evo 2 Pro version 2.50. 2.50 brought several changes, including smart orbit, EXP settings, and controller sensitivity, which was not easy to adjust for a lot of people. Even for me, it was kind of hard. It took me almost an entire battery to just get it to the point where I wanted it to be. Smart orbit function, one of the best functions on this drone to date. I tested it out. I tried it out. It's super easy to use. As you can see right here, we went outside. I flew the drone outside. I tried it at first at this building right here, as you can see it. On this building itself, all I had to do was mark the building itself and engage the orbit function. When you do the orbit function, I would suggest check your surroundings first. Make sure that while you stay within the orbiting part, there's nothing that could be in the way, such a tree, a telephone pole, power lines, whatever it is, a vehicle, an obstacle, a house, whatever it is, that when the orbit starts, that the drone has full function to go all the way around without engaging into any obstacle. You can change speed of rotation, which you can see here. I actually went counter steer a little bit to have it go really, really slow. The higher you are, the faster you want to go. There's a max speed to it. So if you go within the rotation speed and you push the stick into the very same direction, this is the fastest speed at this point. And you can change direction. She will blatantly just stay on that circle. After I tried out the building, I figured give it a try with me in the center. So I went outside there, went in the back of my yard, and I tried out just to do a circle around myself, which is like an orbit function where if you stay somewhere on top of one hill or you stay on one cliff and you have enough room around you. And it worked great. One thing that I realized with it though, it's not a tracking. So even though you select with that square, this is the point of center, the drone will stay on it, but if you change height too fast, the gimbal will not keep up with it. So you will have to manually adjust the gimbal. Another point is that I was able to move away from the center of the orbit, and the drone did not follow me, so she will stay there. So that is her initial start. When she first engages, she goes a little bit sideways. I guess she calculates the center point, and then boom, she starts her rotation. With the rotation though, you're gonna be able to do a lot of cool stuff. I was walking right here, I was walking right next to it. I can show you right here when I was holding up the controller, how things were going, which is super cool if you wanna do a walking head video and you don't have nobody that can film you, but you have an external audio device that might cut out a little bit the drone noise, because the propellers are kind of loud if you get too close. And yeah, I really like the smart orbit function, and I think it's a really cool thing. So if it's a moving object, it will not track onto it. If it's a static object or it's something that you determine this is where it is for now, for the next few seconds, then she start rotating, but you can walk away from it and you can walk around the drone, you can see it. Another thing on the smart orbit function that you should be careful of is if you turn off obstacle avoidance. As you see here, I filmed it from my camera on my controller at the same time while she was rotating around me. My property is has like a fall to it, so at some point the drone was only like 2 feet or 1.5 feet above the ground. She did not change her altitude, and then on the other side of that very same 2 feet, it was almost chest height, so it was almost like 4.5 feet tall. So she keeps her original height that she sets it onto. So be careful when you do uneven grounds, or if there's an obstacle like a rock or a smaller pole that might be in the way. Be careful, because she might end up in it, especially if obstacle avoidance is off. Which brings me to the next point. Version 2.50 has implemented, just like DJI, as I have seen it on DJI, not like that I own one, but it implemented the same thing. Even though you turn off obstacle avoidance, on your screen in the app, you still will see those lines around to tell you where the obstacle will be at. Plus, it has a beeping sound, an annoying freaking beeping sound now. I don't know why they did that, but I'm assuming that there were a lot of pilots out there, beginners, not so beginners, I don't know, but there were a lot of pilots out there that flew Autel Evo 2 drones, and I think they kind of messed up and they turned off obstacle avoidance, forgot about it that it's turned off, went for it, boom, and it crashed. Now it has that annoying beeping sound if it's anywhere close. It's kind of cool, but on the other hand, it really can mess with your mojo if you're trying to film yourself while flying the drone. You're gonna have that annoying beeping sound in there. So I'm not the biggest fan of it, but hey, if it helps avoid you dropping you $2,000 out of the air, I'm cool with it. I can live with it. I'll work around it. Let's say it that way. It's not the best, coolest thing that they did with that new update, but it's okay. I had to check EXP settings and sensitivity settings. You have EXP settings now, which control your forward movement, which controls your rotational speed, your up and down, and you also have sensitivity for attitude, for braking and all that stuff. The braking itself, I left it at 100% because this is, after all, a GPS quad with a gimbal, with a 3-axis gimbal. So she will stabilize. Even if she stops like this, like really hard, you will barely see that movement in that gimbal because she has a lot of play to go with. So I leave that at 100%. The attitude, on the other hand, if you screw it down to like 60%, 40, 50, 60%, I ran into problems. I actually had my first official crash with this drone. Not really a bad crash, but I clipped something and the arm folded in this way, and these propellers actually was grinding on the top, which brings me to the biggest issue that I have right now with this drone. While doing my budget accessory video, the bottom part of this sensor right here was sort of kind of blocked off, or I don't know, but I mounted my 360 camera on the top of this drone, and this drone needs a shutoff function just like my Parrot-Anafi has, because I tried, this drone was on the ground, she was still rotating her propeller, she was still engaging, she acted like she was hovering, and as soon as I pushed down a little bit on the drone to hold it to the ground in order to either hold the button in the back to turn her off, the motor spooled up really hard, thinking like that there's wind pushing from the top and she has to hold herself up. Even though she was on the ground, she would not engage into the landing function. Now, if I would wanted to grab this drone and turn it upside down like this, which I tried, she would not go for it because she is gonna start up these motors really hard, really fast, trying to level herself. And if you don't have the strongest hands or she slips out of your hand, this drone is gonna go down hard, really hard. So be careful of that. I would love to see that the drone actually can be flipped around like this and poof, she just turns off just like my Parrot-Anafi does. I do not know why this function is. I don't know how that system works, but I wish it would be for that right here, like this. What I had to do was hold it slightly down so I could actually clip the battery and just disengage the battery, click, push it out. And I believe I filmed it with this 360, and I hope that I actually implemented it into this video. So at the time of the recording, while I'm talking to this, I did not pull the footage of this yet because I will do that later on in post. But if I do have that footage, I will implement it into this video. There were apparently some more bug fixes, which I'm not able to really determine which bug fixes those are because I don't really know what the bugs are or were because I didn't experience any other bugs. So I guess it was software related, so therefore I'm not really worried about it. So, but the major functions that they implemented is now the smart orbit in 2.50, the EXP settings, which you will have to try on your own because everybody flies it different. If I give you EXP settings, your thumb actions and your preference on how to fly the drone might be different from mine. So try it out for yourself. I suggest highly for you guys to do it on your own. Fly the drone on your own, try to do your own thing. You will see that these EXP settings, all they do is pretty much that if you utilize the controller and you pull the stick, you have more dead space in the stuff where she moves slightly before she fully engages into a banking maneuver. So you will have to play around with it. What I would love to see is presets, that I can set up presets. I want it to be super sensitive at some point, and I want it to be super not sensitive whatsoever. Simply with those buttons of hell underneath, it would be great if we could program certain presets based on EXP settings and sensitivity within the steering compartment. That would be great. So hopefully with new updates, we will see that. In the beginning, when you pull up 2.50, I highly suggest do a compass calibration and a gimbal calibration. And do a compass calibration every single time you travel from one filming spot to the other. It doesn't take that long, it's a few seconds, but it might save you a headache and it might save you a few $1,000s that might drop out of the sky or maybe even fly away. I don't know what a bad compass calibration can do to you, but I'm suspecting it's nothing good, okay? So I suggest every single time do a compass calibration, do a gimbal calibration, do a drone calibration, whatever you have to do, maybe even a joystick calibration, just to be on the safe side. Just do it. Make it your pre-flight checking, including the seams of the arm, the propellers. Check everything. Make sure that the gimbal is operational, that your horizon is level. All those pre-flight checks, that should include a calibration of the compass, should include a calibration of the gimbal, and maybe even of the drone itself. After all, it's your hard-earned money that might drop out of the sky, that might, you know, it takes just a second that you're gonna mess this up and boom, she's on the ground, she's dead, and she can't fly anymore. And then you're gonna be heartbroken, just like I was, you know what I mean? So you don't want any of that, okay? So this is pretty much it. This is 2.50. This is what I can tell you, what I've experienced so far. Test out the smart orbit function. It is really great. I really like it. And if this is the first time to my channel, please don't forget, subscribe, like. I'm gonna be coming out with a new video I got from Original Dobo in the live stream the other day. If you haven't seen it yet, he's sending me brand new ND filters for his drone. I'm super grateful for that. Check out his channel. His channel will be in the description below, just like every link of all the equipment that I used to film this episode. And I hope I see you guys the next episode. And don't forget, COVID-19 is still out there to get you. Please be safe, wear your mask, be a nice human, wash your hands, and be safe. Take it easy, everybody. Aloha.